All right, guys, we're back. Movies That Don't Suck podcast, episode 2. And, of course...
The Rise of Skywalker
and
the sleep of Skywalker. That's what it is.
Here we are. Full spoiler discussion, as we said in the title, so we're going to go away.
This is the Christmas edition. We saw the movie on Thursday. Today's
Monday. Yeah, we've had a few days to think about it, which I'm glad
Tomorrow's
because...
Christmas Eve.
The movie is a bit of a sloppy mess, but...
It's messy, it's choppy, it's you know, there's parts like... I did not like the Emperor part at all.
I didn't either.
I did not like. It was like he was a vegetable, and all of a sudden he took their powers at the end. Yeah. And like, was he a clone? It's like, what the fuck, man? They don't even explain how he survives, right?
Well, they do. If you watch stuff afterward, if you go into the YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't. I haven't watched any really.
Basically, nothing got explained in this. And if anything got explained, it was a one line. From some character saying, "Oh, this is why the fucking ships can't."
I do like the stabs that JJ took.
There was a lot
at Ryan. Yeah. I like that. My favorite was when Luke caught the lightsaber and then he said something.
He was like, a Jedi's weapon should be treated with more respect.
Yes, which is something. And I was like,
yeah,
all right, I like that.
Before we go into all the individual moments, which I'm sure we'll have plenty of in-depth about. At the end of the day, Tim, did you like the movie? Like, straight up and down. Did you like the movie?
No.
You didn't?
I didn't like the movie. I thought
Where does it fall in the 3? In the 7, 8, 9? Where does it fall for you?
8 was, like Frank said before, the worst Star Wars movie ever made. I agree with that.
Okay.
7, I really liked. I didn't love it, but 7, I was like, wow, this is a good setup. This is great. We're going, up the mountain and that
people were upset that it was more like it was kind of like a New Hope, but I kind of like that.
I thought 7 was
soft
really
reboot's
good.
fine.
So
I kind of like that.
I like this better than Jedi, The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. Not as much as Force Awakens, but overall, it's not saying much. I didn't have high expectations because, like I said, I didn't think
it's the same.
It's
literally the same
because of what happened in 8. I didn't think he was gonna do some miracle.
There was that ceiling that you.
It was a ceiling. I thought it at most, even if he hit a home run, was gonna be a 7 or an 8 out of 10, and I don't think he necessarily hit a home run. I don't even given the shit he was given. I think it still wasn't.
You still thought it could have been better executed, even with the.
I think he did the best. I think he did the best he could. I don't think he could have done better.
I think he could have done better
because there wasn't enough time.
With the movie, he could have done better. Like, structurally, with the film,
with
orchestrated better.
How it wasn't better. Like so choppy and messy.
I think, he didn't fucking. He didn't get a ball of shit and turn it into a fucking gold. Art on the wall. Right. You know what I mean? He didn't.
He did get a ball of shit.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
He did get a ball of shit.
He got a ball of shit, but he might have made it into something else. It wasn't.
Right, it's hard to turn a sack of shit into flame.
Yeah, he didn't turn. Like I said, he didn't turn water into wine. Maybe he turned it into.
I was not expecting that.
But I was expecting that.
He turned it into soda.
I know you were. Yeah. I know you were. Yeah. And that's like.
He turned it into soda or something.
Me and him have the same sentiments.
I don't necessarily.
You guys had the same sentiments last week, but also you liked the movie. I think more
Probably
than Tim.
I did.
Yeah, I think you and I are more closer on.
He liked it more than me.
But I don't. But I like the movie. I like the movie. Like, you were upset more so how they expounded on the Force a little bit, and
things like that.
And you were worried about the leaks.
It got a little too. Like, they were almost like, are they Jedi Knights or are they gods? It got to that point where it was a little, but I don't mind like they have like this connection in their head, and then like
I don't mind that either.
He walked. That's how he got the lightsaber. I mean, she gave him the lightsaber
through the Force.
Oh, when they were fighting each other.
That was fucking dope.
Yeah, see, I like that when they're fighting through the Force
like that.
See, that's the problem they have. It's
but flying around and stuff like that. Like, all right.
Well, that's the weird situation they have now, where it's like you want to add new Force powers and you want to modernize everything, but then you run into that line of like, okay, add new Force powers, but then how do you not make them gods?
Well, the problem is, they're trying to retcon 8, and they kind of retconned a lot of other movies in the past also.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into, because I have a few points of like, they did this and this kind of affected even the prequels.
Well, that's the problem with what JJ's run into, was that he had to he made a sequel. Everyone said he made a sequel to 7, which he kind of did, and then he had to retcon 8, then he had to make 9, but then he also had to make the movie that was going to end a 40-year saga. So this guy was given, and again, you can't make
I
too many
have so
excuses
much
for him.
respect for JJ.
I do too.
I have so much
I
respect.
have no
for him.
knocks
I don't think he
against
did a
him.
bad job, but I don't think he.
So much respect.
I don't
for
think
him.
he fucking knocked it out of the park.
I don't think he did either. I wish he did
So
knock
what's
it out
your
of the park.
take overall?
My take is overall, I gave it an 8. I said it is the biggest problem of the movie is, like you said, the first act is slow. It is choppy. It is very much that thing that we heard where it's a fetch quest, and it's got to go over here and get the thing, but then you got to talk to this guy and get the thing, and then get the thing to get the thing.
It's like video
It
game
is.
plot,
It is
like,
very like a video game. And I literally turned to my friend at one point. Something had just happened. I don't remember what it was. Something just happened, and I turned to him and said, "Wait, what's this thing? What are they looking for? The thing? Why does she have it?" And he's like, "Oh, because she just got it from that." And I'm like, "Oh." I already forgot because even as the guys on Red Letter Media said, they're like, things are just, you're questioning things and you're like, don't have time to think about it because they're just throwing the next thing at you. Well, why was this? Don't worry about it. Next thing.
Move on.
Because the thing. And you have to go get the thing.
I think that's how the movie had to be made, though.
But that's a problem. That's the same problem Rogue One had. The first beginning, planet. This person. And then you have to set it all
Rogue One is
I like Rogue One.
It's an excellent
movie. No, it's an excellent movie, but it's got the same
It
structural
does, but
problem
you
in
look
the first
past
act
it a little
where
bit more because it's not.
Right,
It doesn't hold so much
Right,
weight.
it's not a saga film. So overall, I enjoyed the film. It's messy as hell. I don't agree with all the decisions. It's clearly patched together throughout the film, especially in the first act. But I also didn't have a problem, and we'll go through each thing, but didn't have as much a problem with the Emperor. Didn't have a big problem with the ending, and didn't have a problem with the redemption of Kylo, which I told you I was going to have a problem, but I like how they expounded upon that, so I'll give them credit for that. But overall, for all its problems, I did like the movie, but I did want more, and I expected more.
So you got to say you're just.
You didn't get all the Force Ghosts that you wanted.
I didn't get the Force Ghosts that I wanted.
I knew you weren't gonna get that.
I got the Raylo that I didn't want, but luckily not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
So you were overall. You got to be disappointed.
Mildly, because I said last week too. I said an 8 would be mildly, because I said I didn't want no 7. 7 would be bad. 7 rating. I got an 8, which was mildly disappointing, but I still overall enjoyed the film, and I want to see it again, and I look forward to seeing it again.
What's your overall take?
I mean, pretty much the same thing as you.
You like it a little bit better.
So what? 7, 7.5.
It's a 7.
Good.
7.5.
You weren't expecting.
I was not
better.
expecting I like you said, they couldn't turn shit into sugar with this movie to me. The story, the storyline, they couldn't. You can't save it. You couldn't save it. And that was in my head before seeing the movie. I knew you couldn't save it. No. You couldn't save the story.
The weird thing about this movie is how many times do we all say
he's Snoke, and he's every voice you've ever heard.
That's kind of cool. I kind of like that, but I don't
like that.
It's stupid because it's only pulled out to now, and because there was
it's stitched.
Yeah, because there was no overall story.
Part of it is Carrie Fisher's passing, but the majority of it to me is Rian Johnson's terrible movie that he made.
Yeah. See, the weird thing is that we always say this as movie fans.
This movie. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's cool. It's the big thing is we always say, oh, movies need to be faster, quicker, better paced, chop down time. But how many people have said this movie needed about 15 or 20 more minutes of exposition? Yeah. And it's weird because they dump a lot of exposition on you in the beginning, but they need to take the exposition dumps, like, the whole granddaughter Palpatine thing.
The writing was not good in this movie.
Does this movie make you like 8 more or hate 8 more?
Wow, that's a good question.
Because me and Tim were more down on 8 than you.
I'll say this. I watched 8. Did you guys watch 8 before 9?
Parts of it.
Okay, I watched 8.
I watched like about half.
I watched it, and I sat there knowing everything I was going to hate and not everything, and I said to myself, all these decisions that are made with all the characters, which everyone has gone through with the last 2 years, I won't bore you with that, but I sat through it saying, like, okay, in and of itself as a movie, it doesn't anger me that much, even though I don't like the whole thing. The Luke is the biggest thing that got ruined for everyone. The Luke thing, I can look past, Rose and Benicio del Toro and all that crap. But the movie didn't necessarily make me more angry, but I like 9 better because it gives me all the moments that I wanted. And people say it was too much fan service. I don't think there was too much fan service.
I don't think there was a lot of fan service.
Yeah.
I don't think there was over the top.
I thought there was going to be way more fan service than there was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. Slap you in the face.
Because what's his name? Lando.
I mean, Lando was probably the biggest.
But he wasn't even in it that much.
Right.
And I liked no reason to bring him back. But there was weird moments with him, like at the end with
with that girl.
Who that girl?
Yeah, he left it open, like, oh, let's find out who you are.
But I didn't know if he was like trying to fuck her or if it was his daughter. Like,
some people have said that they think it might be his daughter, but I'm like, then why would he not know who his daughter is sitting right there?
It was weird. I didn't. The phrasing he had is like.
Yeah, he's
but, so then why even? Like,
yeah, it was weird.
What the fuck is that?
I didn't understand what that
even
was
what Finn said to Rey, like, what was he gonna say to her?
He was gonna say he was force sensitive.
Yes.
Well, but the whole time I thought he was gonna say like I'm in love with you.
Yes, that was what I thought too.
That's what I thought.
But JJ actually, let's be clear. There's no rumor. JJ went on Twitter or he got an interview and then somebody tweeted and said officially he was gonna say he was gonna tell Rey.
Well,
he
they
was
made
force
hints
sensitive.
of it during the thing, like he felt her.
But
why didn't he want to tell her around Oscar Isaac with Poe? That was the weird
because
thing.
he's like, "Would you want to tell Rey?" He's like, "That's why I missed."
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's like, well, but saying it's force sensitive is not really a personal thing. And plus, that's his boy. Why can't he say, "Hey, by the way, yo, bro, I'm force sensitive. I'm gonna tell Rey." Like that's not some ridiculously personal thing that you have to keep from your boy. That's your bromance right there. It's your boy.
I would rather I would have rather liked to see Finn and Rey have a thing.
I would have liked that
more than Kylo and Rey.
Yeah, okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. The biggest thing in the movie that I did not like, and I yelled out in the, you guys probably heard me. I yelled out in the movie when they kissed at the end. I was like, oh, God.
I was sitting right next to you.
And the whole movie, I was like hyping things up. I was like, oh, that's cool, that's cool.
You
were
could
like,
tell us the way they're going to go with it.
Yeah, but I just would have rather liked to see her and Finn because they're,
because they came together. Yeah, they came together, and he always liked her. He says it to her in 7, like, oh, do you have a boyfriend?
Yeah,
He likes her. And then they obviously brushed away the Rose and Finn thing.
Thankfully.
Because she wanted to come on the mission. That was cool.
They basically Jar Jar binked her.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put her. Remember she wanted to come onto the ship?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I need you to stay back here. Sweetheart, I need you to stay back.
Jar Jar binks her. They just bait her in the background. And
which I think, guess what?
What did she do? She had to do something?
She had to like run stuff on the computer.
Yeah,
Leia had to like have her run some stuff on the computer.
Yeah. That's... They Jar Jar binks.
And you know what? I actually liked her character better for being less of her. Because when I did see her, I knew she wasn't going to be in a lot of the movie, and I'm like, oh, there she is, just doing her thing, delivering her lines. Like I had no problem with her.
Poe had a
in
big part in this movie.
He was big.
He had a very. He was more.
I like Oscar Isaac. He's so good.
He was good.
He's so good.
Yeah, he is. But I don't like the way. Like I don't think if you look at them for where the arc started with all those characters in 7 and where they became,
it's not what they want. It's not.
No.
Let's acknowledge that, and let's acknowledge.
Like what arc does Finn have?
Finn's arc is just it rose. And then, no pun intended.
It was very high. It was very high.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Force Awakens, I thought they would be together. I thought they would end the trilogy with them together.
Like me too. I would have thought that.
His arc was in the first
25
minutes of the first movie in 7. He defected from the First Order.
Right.
And then whatever happened.
And then joined the Resistance
with him. He never really there was no arc through the movies. I mean, like looking back to the originals, what was Han's arc? He
scoundrel.
He did change at the end of the first one, but then he, fell in love with Leia, and that became a whole other thing. Saying like, he's not just some selfish person, and it kind of made his arc even bigger.
Yeah, full hero's journey for him. And with Luke,
what was Finn?
Finn didn't have that's the thing. He didn't have a full arc. He had his rise in 7, and then he kind of flatlined in 8 with his holy thing with the Canto Bite. And then this was just continuing the flat line of like helping the Resistance,
the same with
doing
Poe.
his thing.
I mean,
and he killed Phasma in 8, so he didn't really have that big personal opposition that he had to deal with, because that was the big one that he wanted to go after in 8, because that was the one who dominated him all those years as a stormtrooper. So they didn't really give him a personal relationship to deal with.
No, and same with Poe. I mean, they brought in some. Is that like an ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, that was Kerry Russell, Zori Bliss.
Like.
Again, patched in.
Because he had a former life and
which
okay.
Then they hint he was like a smuggler. He was a. What they say? He was a spice raider.
Spice runner.
Spice runner. Like
I guess it's like
which I think
drugs in the universe, but
spices,
which is okay. But then he defected and like
he just became part of the Resistance.
She basically was written in so she can give him that emblem to like this is like.
The coin to get into the
this is like a swipe card that gets you anywhere inside the First Order.
Right. She just happened to have that because she had the thing to get you the thing.
Exactly. So it seems like they just wrote her in for that.
See, I can say that, but I'll say this. I liked Kerry Russell's character. I thought Zori Bliss was interesting. She's a cool character. They didn't really give us enough of her, but I did like her. And I liked the other new character. Her name was Janna, the girl Lando was talking to. She was a former stormtrooper. So I'll say this. I thought also what was so good about the movie, better than 8 in some respects, was that the side characters were more interesting. I like Zori Bliss and I like Janna more than I like Holdo and DJ and Rose.
Yes,
so
I agree.
And we all like the droids. We like Dio. Dio's a fun
and
little.
Babu Frick was good.
And Babu, everyone's
Frick
loving. Babu
was
Frick is
good,
becoming
yeah.
like a mini Yoda.
Yeah.
I'm seeing him
Dude,
a lot pop up.
They get the aliens and the droids. In every movie, they got them good.
Yeah, they
even
always
like
do.
K2SO. Every movie, the droids
Yeah.
are fucking
Maybe
good.
L3 and Solo,
movie.
people don't like because she's like that fake feminist thing. But I don't hate her. She's fine. She's
For the most part, the little aliens and the little droids, they get right.
They for some reason they nail it.
They nail those.
For some reason, the fucking storyline they blow.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
This all, and I don't want to all put it on one person because it's not all on one person. And making a movie is a friggin' collaborative effort.
Yes.
We know that, but it comes down to Rian Johnson and Kathleen
Well,
Kennedy.
that's the
Kathleen
thing.
Kennedy,
When you're in charge and something goes wrong, you're to blame.
Well,
it doesn't matter where it goes. It doesn't matter where it happens. When you are the head, when you're in control, and something goes
the
wrong,
head coach,
it's on you.
Well,
it's on you.
Beginning that they to me, if I looked back in 2015, now they botched the trilogy. I
would 100% agree with
just
you.
not having a fucking overall story. They botched it.
Yeah.
They were pulling shit out of their ass.
you made a good point.
They didn't
too.
pull shit out of their ass for this movie.
Of course they did. They had to, but they had to.
Did you
But they had to.
But they wouldn't have had to if they had a fucking story from 2014.
All of a sudden, there was a spy, and there was General Hux, and he just
I thought that was funny.
He wanted
though.
to see Kylo lose.
See, no, but I said that. I said I liked that during the movie. Then you said you didn't like that because you were sitting next to me, and you said you didn't like that. But then you said when he said, "Oh, I don't care if you win. I just want Kylo to lose." You liked that. You thought that was an interesting motivation because it was just like
it was funny. It was funny though.
It made it a little bit less.
Right, because we thought it was just like, oh, I'm a good guy now. No, it's not. He's a good guy. It's just I hate Kylo.
In the beginning,
it's funny that he says that.
Yeah,
they made Hux such a bitch. Like they.
That's what I'm saying. And then who's the other guy?
Oh, his name's Richard E. Grant. He's General Pride. Everyone is loving him online.
Yeah, because
he reminds you of the old.
Because
generals.
they made him a bitch in 8.
They bitched
Hux in 8.
Yeah,
bitch.
That's a real shame because Domhnall Gleeson is a really good actor.
In 7,
I have no issue with the acting.
Me neither.
Dude, in 7 when he's giving that speech. It's like Hitler.
Yeah, it's like space Hitler.
Shit, this is like he's
crazy.
This guy's intense.
That vein is popping in his fucking.
And we'll end the First Order. And everyone's like, oh yeah. I was like, yo, that shit is fucking like. Dude, he's a psycho.
Dude, Domhnall Gleeson is a really good actor.
You know what I'm talking about? They're on the.
Yes, and he's giving the speech, and he's got the outfit on.
Well, finally, yeah. And they all like
right.
Million. I'm like, holy.
And then you see the red light in the background.
Yeah, this is an intense scene. Like he's a fucking like. I was actually like, okay. You can be scared of him. Like,
right.
He had almost as much power as Kylo.
Yeah.
Like
he was even talking to Snoke.
And then in 8, it started off with that stupid fucking prank call.
The prank call. And then Snoke fucking bitches him.
And then now they're like, okay, he's a bitch, so we have to like turn him to be, he was on. He's
a traitor.
He's a mole now.
He's a traitor.
It ruined his arc was ruined.
But at least it was a little ruined. But it did get us the General Pride, which everyone is loving online because it reminds them of the old school Star Wars generals, who were like the stone cold, serious, dark. Yeah. Look what he did to Hux, blasted him, just like that, blasted him. Yeah. So like that was cool.
We didn't get no Snoke explanation.
Well, you got an explanation, but again, they didn't expound upon
Science lab.
The science lab, which. Listen, it leaked. I had heard it in a YouTube video without even wanting. I wasn't even looking for leaks that day, but I didn't want to tell you. Yeah, I had heard I was watching a random video on YouTube. I think it was one of those guys we like, and they said like, "Oh, I'm hearing that this is one of the things." They just dropped it into the video, and I was like, "Oh no, I didn't want to hear that." So I kind of tried to forget about it. But then when I saw those tanks with the Snoke clones in them, I was like, "That leaked."
This whole movie leaked.
This is why I don't know how you like to.
He knew pretty much 90% of the movie.
I don't know how
you knew about Han too.
How the fuck I knew about Han?
See, I didn't know that.
I didn't
know about Han.
How the fuck did this whole thing leak?
If you want to believe that the script was found under
the whole movie
John Boyega's bed.
Have you ever seen a leak this bad?
Never. I have never.
For a movie this big.
Unless the Birds of Prey leak turns out to be true. I didn't care about Birds of Prey. I don't know if I'm even going to see that. So I wanted to read. I wanted to read that one. And if that leak is true, oh my God, it's horrible.
Oh, the movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible if that ends up.
Well, we
being,
know that. I mean, the movie doesn't look good,
but
I
don't know.
It leaked the whole movie.
I don't know why you want to know that stuff.
I didn't think it was gonna be fucking that accurate.
I know, that's the thing. That's part of the fun is seeing like, oh, it will be some fun.
I don't want to know shit.
Yeah, me neither.
I only want to know.
Well, from now on, I'm not. But a lot of these leaks.
Well, there ain't no from now on. No.
Yeah, you gotta wait 3 more years.
Not this accurate.
It was pretty spot on. It was pretty like once I heard the word Wayfinder, I was like, oh boy, I know that word came up in the leaks because I didn't want to read a lot of the leaks, but I told you I watched some of them, and once I got to the Wayfinder stuff, I was like, okay, I'll stop reading now, stop watching.
And
now.
They're basically like holocrons, but they don't.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're calling them Wayfinders. They're holocrons because in Rebels, Maul is looking for the holocrons, and they're the little pyramids.
Yeah.
So why can't we call it the same? Is it not a holocron?
I don't get it.
It's in Rebels. It's in Rebels.
Holocron is canon.
Maul is looking for the color, and remember it leads to the whole time thing with Ahsoka and their time.
So I didn't
time
get that
change.
either. I'm like, isn't this a holocron? What the fuck's
what I thought it was.
Wayfinder? And that dagger, I don't even remember like where that came from.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember at first. I had to read up where it was when they fell through the pit with the snake that she healed.
But what were they?
It just
that was fucking.
And the only reason they had that scene was to show that she could heal.
That was just.
She's gonna heal the
but
snake.
See how messy this movie is.
It's a mess.
That was godlike.
I don't even know where they went to some. It almost had like a Goonies element to it. They went to that place to find a guy who was looking for that.
No, they were looking for the guy. See, this is where I get. No, you're right. They're looking for the guy who last knew where the Sith, because they were looking for the Sith assassin that killed Rey's parents, and that's why they found his ship. So they had to go to the
Why
planet.
were they looking for him?
Because he was gonna have his remains of his ship was gonna like have the information. And again, maybe we're wrong. Maybe people out there are hearing us and saying these guys don't know the movie, but that's why it's messy, and we don't.
We saw it like 4 days ago.
Well, it's kind of hard not to fucking like.
Everything they give you a reason every time.
People who know like all the fucking Easter eggs already. It's like
and those guys all seen it like 2, 3, 4 times already.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I seen a guy on Instagram that I follow. He reviews movies. He's seen the movie today for the 4th time.
Okay, so we can't even. Okay, so where did they go to that desert when they fell through that?
That was Pisana, right? That was where they had like the
Burning
Man,
Sith assassin, and then
his ship. They had to find.
Did they find the dagger there?
That was where I think they said. Oh, that's what it was. They said he had the dagger. So
but
therefore,
his body was. And then Luke and like Lando were out.
They
looking for him like years before.
Yeah,
that.
Luke couldn't find him. Right,
Luke couldn't find it.
Yeah, Luke couldn't find him.
His body was dead. They found the dagger.
Right. Yes, because they found like the
skull.
But
the weird thing about the dagger was some ancient Sith dagger, but then it lined up with the Death Star wreckage from 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's another plot hole. I didn't think of that.
Weird. What the fuck
is
that?
The Death Star was like 30 years ago, but the Sith dagger had ancient Sith text on it. That's thousands of years old. That C-3PO can't.
Remember when she held it up? It lined up with the Death Star wreckage in the fucking ocean.
But the dagger, which from a thing that's like,
I don't remember.
See, that's the thing where you don't think of it in the moment because you're just seeing her do like this, which is very Goonies, Indiana Jones. But when you think about it, you're like, wait, how does that work? So it's smart in the moment when they're writing, like, they won't. But then you think about it. That's why you can't go too far. That's why I hate to say it with Star Wars, especially these movies. You can't think about. You want to think about them and analyze them as we're doing, but with this one especially, you can't think about it too much. You really can't.
Accept it.
You gotta just accept it.
I'm not accepting it, but how can that be explained?
It can't. It can't. And now you're going to see all the videos online of YouTubers explaining
Sith
everything.
Dagger. An ancient Sith dagger from whatever that happened, but it lines up with the Death Star wreckage from like 30 years ago. How the fuck does the Force like knew?
Well, because when Palpatine got the contractors, he knew that they were Sith contractors. He knew.
And that's a whole other thing. How did he build all those ships?
Oh yeah, well, magic, because movie.
Yeah.
Well, but see, again, I'll let that one go because he had 30 years, and like, okay, in 30 years you could build a fleet of ships. Okay, like I won't nitpick
as a
that.
Vegetable.
Well, he's not.
He's walking around. Well, he's like flying fucking.
Okay,
goo.
and how do you interpret?
He's hooked up to machines.
How do you interpret
That's what I'm
him?
saying.
Did he die in the Death Star? Did he live?
Okay, so I actually didn't catch this in the moment, and then all the YouTube I've been watching has said it. He tells Kylo in the beginning, "I have died before." Right? Yeah, he said, "I've died before." So that
is he a clone?
Yes. So this is how I've understood it is that crusty version of him is just one of the clones that they've had to make because that's why Snoke we know was created as an original character, but the reason why he's in the tanks all screwed up and decrepit is because the cloning has only gone so far in the Star Wars universe.
It's like
so they're making,
you come out like half a fucking
they come out as fucked up clones. Yeah. Now we know the real reason is Snoke was supposed to be his own thing, but they have to explain that Snoke's husk is like broken up shit. So that thing you're seeing as the Emperor, that body is just a broken clone shell.
And just
because,
they did kill him.
Yes. So they're basically confirming, which we already knew. Plagueis, taught him, how to live forever in the midichlorians, how to do the essence transfer from the end of 6,
from the middle of space, blown up on the Death Star.
Yes, into
his soul floated through
endless
galaxy,
the endless galaxy, and then they created the clone body for him, and then they had to use the Sith magic, which they said is from the books and the Sith magic, because I think one of the actors says like, "Oh, it's Sith magic," or something we
like
don't know.
that.
They say we don't know. It's
another explanation. Oh, it's Sith cloning or
just,
something.
it's just,
and then they put it into the body. But I'm saying, this is the explanation that the movie has, even though we don't all accept
Whoever
it.
has to write that explanation in a comic in fucking 3 years, good luck to them.
There's gonna be a lot of. Hey, I'll tell you what. There's so much unexplained in this movie. The comics, the story team's gonna have a good time writing these comics. There's gonna be a comic, probably between. Also, it's a year between 8 and 9. I don't know if you guys had heard that. It's a year between 8 and 9. So there's gonna be a comic for that. And then there's going to be a comic for Luke and Leia training, which I thought was awesome that they revealed that Leia was training with Luke.
That was cool. That was cool.
That was cool. I like that.
We all knew she was Force sensitive.
Right.
I buy into that because, in Jedi, she says in time you'll know you have these abilities too.
And then it also explains the
Mary
Poppins within 8.
I wish there was more flashbacks of them young.
That would have been
I
cool.
thought Luke was going to be a little more prevalent.
Yeah, a little.
In some way.
Yeah, very little in
some
this
way.
movie. You thought he'd be like maybe 10 minutes. He was like 2 or 3. Like very little. Like
he was not a lot.
Okay,
so there's gonna be a comic on Luke and Leia training.
It's not interpreted he lived off the Death Star.
No, he was killed. He was killed. He's dead. It was
he floated through space and found another clone body somewhere.
Well, they had to make him.
His soul floated through space.
Right. Well, remember also again, people don't really know the games as much, but in Battlefront 2, they show you that he left messages for the troopers and for
I
the
remember
others.
that. Like Cinder, Operation Cinder.
So Operation Cinder,
game was fucking terrible.
Well, did you play the story?
I played the game 3 times.
Oh, okay, so
it was a waste of money.
So the story was
but the story was kind of okay.
The story was okay. It was
and
okay.
he had that droid's face lit up with his face, and
so he left. It is in there that he was around to give information, explain things.
Yeah.
So maybe he hadn't gotten his body yet, and that's why he had to leave the message on the droid to explain.
So you're interpreting it as, and what other people are interpreting it as, is that he didn't die. He died.
He died.
And
he died in 6.
His dark Sith essence went into another body.
Right.
He has multiple bodies that he's lining up with.
Right.
What about before that? Was he always cloned?
See, I heard that theory too from people, and I think that gets way too complicated. That even the one you see in the movies,
how do you explain that?
You can't.
It's
just
retconning
nonsense.
Like he's been cloned for thousands of years.
Yeah, there's theories out there that now he's been cloned for thousands of years, and that you've never seen the real Palpatine. Like in the prequels and in the originals, that's also a clone.
But then what about Rey's parents? Isn't that which one?
So he fucked someone.
Yeah.
With that fucked up clone body with no fingers and shit. Because she's only like 25.
Well, they said if you go back to 30 years, he had to have been around. This is the problem. He had to have already had the kid like born or maybe a year old in Return of the Jedi. Because it's only been like 28, 30 years. And
you're right.
The
and
son,
Rey's like 20 something.
Right. She's like early 20s.
Yeah.
So, but it's more about how old is Palpatine's son. That's the real question. So when did he?
Well, he could have had
the
the son in the fucking prequels. We don't even.
That's
know
another big problem with the movie. It's like, we say the movie could have easily been 20 minutes longer, which I do think it probably should have been. If Endgame could be 3 hours, then why can't the last Star Wars movie be 2:45, 2:50? Like no one's gonna complain a Star Wars movie's too long. So they should have expounded more. If I had to pick one thing they should have expounded more on was not just say, oh, but you're Palpatine's granddaughter, and here's a flashback of the two of them together, and then they get killed. That they go over that so fast.
I know.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they spend an extra 5 minutes on that? 5 minutes in the grand scheme of things would be a long time of fully explaining the son and how he had the kid, and like they give you a mild breakdown of what happened there.
And that whole thing's weird too. Is like
it's not explained.
Why was he not? He only cared about his granddaughter, but like he wasn't able. Of all powerful he is, he wasn't able to like convert his. Was it his son or his daughter?
Yeah, That's another thing I was confused.
I don't know.
I don't know. The movie and I was talking to you guys.
Idea.
I was like, wait, was it his son or his daughter? And you guys had to tell me.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I was confused because they went through it so fast. I'm like, wait, is it his son or his daughter? Is his kid? And it was his son. But the thing people have said, why does his son want to inherit the throne?
Yeah,
exactly. Why does his son have any power?
Oh, we're supposed to believe that.
You don't know.
This
There's another comic right there for Palpatine's son.
He's the most slick, conniving fuck in the galaxy
ever. 20
he
steps ahead.
Fucking Anakin. He wasn't able to like groom his son to be like the new emperor.
Right. And his son, how about this? Okay, his son didn't want to inherit the throne. I'll buy that. Son didn't have any power. Son had no powers
to fight back against him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like didn't have any abilities. And maybe he did, but they didn't. Again, they didn't explain it. Maybe they could say he has.
You know why? Because it's fucking stupid.
It's patched together.
And you know why? Also,
the son had no power, but Rey had infinite power.
Yeah, you know why? Because the guy who wrote fucking Batman vs Superman wrote this movie.
Yeah, but he also wrote Argo. That's the thing. I hate when people just say, "Oh, well, Chris Terrio wrote this movie." And listen, I don't want to knock Chris Terrio. The guy's obviously a successful screenwriter.
But Argo is
but he wrote Argo
based
too.
on a real story.
Yeah,
bro.
but he won an Oscar and he.
So is Batman vs Superman. That's a comic.
Yeah, but it ain't.
Yeah, but
this shit he's done.
That movie's terrible.
Based in reality.
Not as bad as everyone said though.
Based in reality, his shit okay, but him like making up shit. with like fiction, he's missed.
Has he written anything else that we don't? Didn't he help JJ do something? I don't even remember. I'd have to
when
look
you
it up.
told me the guy from fucking Batman Superman was writing this, I said.
But I also said it was.
Why the fuck did they pick him?
Well, I think he's also friends with JJ. I think that's part of it too. I think JJ brought him on. I think that was part of the deal that he worked because this movie was delayed. This movie 9 was originally like a year and a half ago.
Like
it was
spring release.
It was supposed to be a spring release, and JJ said, "Listen, I need more time. I can't get this movie out as fast as possible. I need more time."
All right.
So he's like, so we got like 6 more months to make this movie, and look how it's still much of a rush job it was.
The whole everything. There's so many things I can't remember, but the whole thing with.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of fucking shit.
And the way they say it is just like, oh, Palpatine's,
next thing.
I wouldn't have made her Palpatine. That adds a whole other element to it, like his son.
I wouldn't have mind that if
they did it from the beginning.
If they did it from
7, from 7.
If they did it from
or
8.
hinted from it from 7.
That's what I'm saying. It had to be.
But that you can't just explain that away. His son, where the fuck's his son?
Well, yeah, we don't know. All they said was that he exists. That's the problem.
Exactly.
All in like 2 minutes, they say you're the granddaughter. He has a son. Son was killed.
Look at the original trilogy. Okay?
I don't think he could have done much
Was there
more.
anything like left as a question?
Very little, if anything.
Even as people don't like the prequels, was there anything left as like a question? No.
Tightly wrapped story.
What was like the
a bit convoluted and a bit I don't like the whole I've always said I don't like the political stuff, and it's a bit messy. But it's a clearly
A through Z.
story.
Was there like any like we get what the story like? Was there any? You never like going back and saying like maybe the Plagueis shit.
Yeah, and then like how did Padme die of a broken heart? And then people say maybe Sidious did stuff to her. Yeah, so little things we can nitpick at and say like, but it's clearly I agree with you. A to Z. Say what you want about the acting.
There's
say
no
what you want about
CGI.
Huge say what
plot.
you want about green screen.
Because Lucas knew what he was doing.
Right.
From as whatever you think of the movies,
also,
at least he knew from the beginning. This is it's going to start here. It's going to end here.
And he went into it with a plan. Before he even set up the plan, he knew the idea of the prequels was the rise of Anakin Skywalker.
That was
before you write anything down, he knew that was what the movies were going to be.
Anakin turning to Darth Vader.
Right. What is the overall? What's the pitch to this trilogy? The rise of Rey. Like I'm saying, like I'm not even trying to make fun of it. I'm saying, what is the overall? The prequels is the rise of Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
The original trilogy is the Darth Vader's diminishment and rise to good, and Vader and it's Luke's Luke's hero's journey.
Yes. And what is this? Is it the rise of Rey or is it
a hero's journey?
The downfall of Ben.
It's the rise of Rey and the downfall and redemption of Ben.
What you all got in the last 30 minutes of the last movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
So going into that, I will say, I thought Adam Driver was
To me, Kylo Ren is the best character in this whole 7, 8, 9.
That's what I was just gonna say. Adam Driver is fucking awesome.
He's good.
Far and away, that's the best. That's the best.
He's having a great year.
He's the best actor, and he's the best. He to me is the most connection I have with the character.
Agreed.
Is him, and even as kind of a little bit of corny the Han thing was.
He has the most emotional part.
Yes,
right.
He has the most emotional.
He's got the most at stake internally with his parents and what he's done.
I found it hard to have any emotional attachment to any of these characters. I'm being honest.
Yeah, no.
I didn't.
Ray is not second for you. To me, Ray is second. I don't want to like I'm shitting on Ray. I like Daisy Ridley.
I'm not trying to be like a shit on Ray. I don't think she acted badly.
No, Daisy Ridley's good.
I have no issue with the acting.
I don't really have any attachment to Ray.
There's not much emotion because you don't find out who her parents are until fucking an hour left.
With Kylo,
right?
So he's from 7 on that bridge with his father, and they kind of redid that to give me. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I could do it.
Right.
He had the most emotional scenes and connections,
and he's the best actor.
And I think they should have made it more. Ray was A. He was. A2.
Right, he's B. He's B because he doesn't have anywhere near the amount of screen time.
Yeah,
not anywhere near, but clearly less screen time.
It should have been him A, and Ray B.
Well, remember, even George wanted a female Jedi lead. So I think it was pretty much universally agreed they wanted to do the femeel story, which is fine. I like Daisy Ridley.
The problem is
I was so in.
She had no backstory
until the hour left in the movie.
There's
nothing.
With him, you automatically from 7, you say, okay. He's going against his parents. He killed his dad.
Right.
My emotional attachment was to him, not to Ray. So that's how
after because you're like she's going to meet Luke. You don't know who her parents are. You're speculating, is it Obi-Wan or you're doing a lot of speculation. So there is emotion there. But what happens in 8? you don't get the explanation of who she is,
right,
and where she comes from. So
the
only thing you get is from Kylo saying you're nothing.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, you come from nothing.
You
he said,
come
you're
from
come from nothing,
nothing.
but you're nothing.
Oh,
but
and
not,
that
but
was
not
the
to me.
stupidest.
Yes.
To me, that was the stupidest line of the movie. I told you came from nothing, which is true, but your parents were nothing. Your grandfather was something.
Yeah.
Is that fucking
But that's what I'm
stupid?
saying. That's where he
said,
no
they are nothing because they
emotions.
are nothing. They tried to be nothing. What he said, they tried to be
Yeah.
nothing, and that's true. They wanted to live a quiet, peaceful, isolated life away from. So it's true from a certain point of view.
Yeah.
Like they were nothing, they are nothing, but they're not because they had
Yeah.
because movie. The movie had to explain it.
I mean, yeah, like you said, from that point on, from the end of 7 until an hour left in 9, there's no emotion attached to
I
it.
didn't feel
There
this,
isn't.
and I like the prequels a lot. I know people don't, but to me,
because the dialogue.
at the end with like Obi-Wan and Anakin, I felt emotion.
Me too.
When Padme died, I feel emotion.
I didn't like the
I
way
didn't-
Leia died at all.
I didn't feel that in this. That was also weird. I don't understand.
I didn't like that. at
I've been
all.
reading into that a little bit. Basically, with
She
like,
was channeling.
she had.
She
They
was
said
channeling.
they said it would take everything she had left to reach out to Ben.
Which,
was
okay,
so-
she
She's
stabbed
dead.
him.
He's dead.
Right.
And then what? She healed him back. So why did she need Leia?
Yeah.
No, well, Leia was just trying to convince her son to like stop and like to like realize who he is, and it
Okay.
distracted him long enough. They're saying that what killed Carrie Fisher, what killed Leia, was just her reaching out to him.
Oh, that's what they're
It
saying.
was remember they said, yeah. There's a line.
Just-
There's a
okay,
line
so
in the movie
that's
that
the
says
new thing.
That's
if you
that-
force project,
yeah.
you die.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Right.
so.
Yeah.
But they can fucking hop in and grab a fucking lightsaber from however far away he was from her. He
well,
can-
they, well,
you know what I mean?
Well, that goes into the
He can-
plot of the Force. They're
he
the,
can
they're the
grab a
Force
lightsaber.
dyad. They're
What
connected.
is that called?
The Force dyad.
Force dyad. That's
Well,
what
that's
it's
Palpatine
called?
says. The two of them
Because
are the Force dyad. They're interconnected through the Force, and they have a bound. Remember the line
He-
from
so
8
he-
as at 8 rise as dark rises, the light rises to meet it. That's what Snoke
So
said.
they can mind fuck each other, and he can grab a fucking lightsaber, but Luke, he can't.
Well, the idea is that just the two of them have that special connection. It doesn't work for other
He does
things.
a force projection.
Okay, I
and
can
he
buy
dies.
that.
Yeah, they're the Force
But-
dyad.
But the whole thing,
I'm not buying.
again, it's not explained well.
It's not.
I left and I was like, I don't even know.
Yeah,
what
look
happened
how bad
with
I had
Leia
just
and
explained it.
him and like
So she reaches out.
asked me
and
to
then
like
that kills-
do a
that
reading
kills-
comprehension and like watch the movie and go and answer questions like why were they on the desert? A, B. I'd fucking fail the test.
Right, because you'd have to watch
I
the
don't
movie
fucking-
again.
yeah.
Right. Because also you're seeing the movie for the first time and they're throwing all this at you, but at least now you'd have to see it the second time.
You'd have to watch a YouTube video 20 minutes long explaining all the Easter eggs.
And as bad
Yeah,
as like
that's true.
people criticize the prequels for being like bogged down, like
I love the
there's a
prequels, so.
trade fucking
the Trade
war.
Federation blockade
Yeah.
and
but like
and-
that
yeah.
wasn't like important to the story as much as like you knew what the purpose of that was. Okay, like again, the overarching story was okay. Whatever that happened here, like they found Anakin, and he fell in love with like Padme in the
Right.
first movie. Like okay, that's really what's the important thing. The Trade Federation,
the love story.
but this is like key elements of them finding.
Well,
Palpatine.
you also said in the other movies have the love story, and we said this trilogy doesn't really have a love
I
story,
said
and that's
that,
why I
yeah.
don't. Yeah, and that's
There's
why
no
I don't,
emotion.
I said there's always. I said I
There's
didn't.
nothing's
mind,
wrong
I
with
didn't
it.
mind. I didn't mind there being a Reylo because
Yeah.
there was to me Star Wars always had a love story. In the original trilogy, it was Leia and Han.
Right.
In the prequels, it was Anakin and Padme, and there was no love story in this.
Right, and then they try to give you that
And
at the end there.
again, that's like there always has been some sort of underlying love story. There wasn't, and now they gave it to you in the last 30 minutes. Like they had to always fit everything in.
They
I
had
didn't
the
think they need.
kiss
Listen,
and
I didn't.
just-
I didn't. That's why I didn't want the kiss. They stared at each other. That's another thing too. Is it just me, or did they stare at each other for a really long time after she healed him? After he healed her.
I don't.
should say.
I
barely
don't even.
remember.
They stared at each other
remember.
for a long time, and I remember thinking to myself like, "Oh no, are they gonna kiss? Are they gonna kiss? Are they gonna kiss?" And like they kiss, and then I yelled out in the theater. I was like, "Oh God, why? You don't need this."
I see. As much as I've shit on this movie, I didn't mind the Reylo because I find like a love story. At least it gives some like emotion to like to the story.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, but then there's no explanation of like what. Because in my head, I think Finn is gonna be like the thing he wanted to say to her is "I love you."
Right, but that's.
But they're saying that's not true.
That's not
But
it.
that's what but I'm not thinking that in the theater. In the theater, I'm thinking
Right, in the
at
moment.
some point he's gonna say "I love you,"
I thought so too.
and that's where the relationship's gonna be. I'm not gonna say I wasn't expecting Kylo, the Reylo thing, but
I didn't like it, but
I would rather her have ended up with Finn.
I agree
personally.
with that. What softened the Reylo thing for me, even though I yelled out and I didn't like it, what softened it, and I told you I didn't want the redemption of Kylo, I will admit, I like the way they executed it. I like how I wouldn't have thought they would have used Han and Leia to bring him back to the light side.
That was cool.
So I'll admit I was wrong about that. They did a good job with it because I think about it. How many of us would have thought for 2 seconds they would have brought Harrison Ford back?
How does he?
That was awesome.
That was cool. But how does he fucking Force Ghost?
He's not a Force Ghost.
He's not.
It's a mental thing. He's just hearing him in his mind.
Well, that's another weird explanation. He's not a Force
Is that
Ghost.
Leia doing that?
No, it's
just in his memory. It's just in his
driver. It's
illusion
Kylo
in his mind, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
he's no pun intended. He's projecting it onto his own mind. Just
saying like, this is what my father would have said to me, basically.
Right. It's not a Force Ghost. It's just him seeing it because notice Leia reached out to him, so that probably helped.
To me, that was.
That's why I thought it was. Leia.
That was there was 2 times that I had an emotional connection.
Okay.
When I heard, "Hey kid."
Yes.
And that sense with Han.
Did you think it was Luke for a second? I heard a lot of people saying they were wondering for a second if it was Luke or Han.
I knew it was Han.
Oh, that's right, because you read the link.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
but
so I wasn't sure.
I was emotionally connected. I said, "Wow."
They've got Harrison Ford to come back.
They got me there, and
the other scene.
And I thought that was a great scene with him.
Great scene.
And then when Rey was on her back and all the Jedi came and spoke to her.
That
was the only
cool.
2 times in the movie I felt it.
Okay.
Spark of emotion.
Nah, because when I thought Chewie was dead,
yes.
I was like,
I was more pissed.
Yes.
I was more pissed about that.
Okay, so
but that's emotional.
you guys haven't said
motherfucker.
You guys haven't said the Chewie thing that I thought you were going to say. The one big emotion I had, of course, seeing Han Solo again, when they tell Chewie that Leia's dead and he bugs out and starts crying and drops to his knees. I was in the theater. I was like, yo, that got me. I was like, oh man, Chewie's had to watch Han and Leia die. Like, he didn't see Leia die, but his best friends just die. That got me. I was like, oh man, poor Chewie.
So those are the 2.
That sucks.
Yeah, Chewie I got pissed about, and then and then a lot of this movie they like give you something and then they like take it away. Like
there's a lot of give and take.
Chewie died and then he didn't, and then like C-3PO's brain gets wiped and then he gets plugged back in.
And they even say, like, R2's backup is not good, but is it not going to, what, they're going to say it didn't work?
Like, he didn't remember, like, the last year.
You also have BB-8, too, right there.
Yeah.
Just do a backup.
Which was
weird. He came back up in that model, then.
I guess not.
And even that whole thing of, like, him saying, like, I want to take one last look at my friends. Like, in the trailer, you're like, oh, wow, like, this is kind of emotional. Like,
he's about to die.
But I thought he was speaking to, like, Leia or something. He doesn't. They're not.
Well, but in that scene though, they show you Oscar Isaac with everyone else, and Leia's not there.
I know, but I thought it was maybe like because he's not even that good of friends with them.
But you have to believe over the last year, from 8 to 9, that he became more friends.
It should have been more like R2 and like Leia.
He tells R2 that they were good friends. He talks to R2 a little bit.
I'm saying goodbye to my friends, and to me, his friends isn't fucking Poe.
But if they had the last year together, along with everything that happened in 8, I could.
But maybe it's saying goodbye to like the audience.
It's also that.
It's saying goodbye to the audience because the backstory to that is I don't know if you know like what the fuck's the guy's name who plays C-3PO?
Oh, Anthony Daniels.
He always wanted like a send off or like he wanted to be more than just like a gay robot basically like an annoying comic relief. He wanted more depth, and I guess he always bugged.
Yeah, and George always gave him shit like no, C-3PO's scared of everything.
Yeah,
which is kind of that's kind of something George would say.
He was basically like the Jar Jar before Jar Jar.
But that's what he is, though.
And he pushed for it in this movie. Like he wanted like an emotional.
He felt crapped on by 8 too. He said it, but Ryan kind of pushed C-3PO to the side, which is kind of true.
Ryan pushed everyone to the side.
Yeah.
The fan base specifically.
Yeah. I do want to talk about you brought it up, that ending moment, which I think everyone universally loved, where all the Jedi come back, and we don't get the Force ghosts, but they all come back, and we hear all the voices. And what I loved about that is we each heard different voices, but there were also some that I didn't even know that we heard.
Ahsoka was in it.
Yes, there was Ahsoka and Kanan
right?
from Rebels. So Frank, that's why you also got to get on the cartoon.
So
there
much
was
shit
voices
to watch.
up there.
So Freddie Prinze Jr. had to go in the studio and voice everything.
Yeah, they had to get it. Yeah, Freddie Prinze, and they had to get Ahsoka Tano.
Anakin's voice was the most.
Yes.
Frequently.
And we heard Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness
both.
as Obi-Wan.
And Yoda.
Yoda. The one I didn't hear, which I'm surprised.
Qui-Gon.
I heard that. The one I didn't hear that I thought I was going to easily recognize was Windu.
I heard
Samuel
Windu.
You guys heard both? You guys both? I did not hear that.
I
didn't hear Ahsoka. I didn't hear Kanan.
I didn't hear Kanan and Ahsoka, but I heard Mace Windu.
I heard Yoda, Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon, at both Obi-Wans. And that's it. Yeah, those are the ones I heard. And it's fast. And Anakin. And so I didn't hear the other ones.
You like the ending?
I like the Force Ghosts, so the voice, the whole.
I like that.
And then her going to the Lars home one more time, burying the lightsaber.
All right, before we get to that,
before that.
The before ending when Palpatine gets killed. Do you like that whole thing?
I think it's a
No.
bit. I think it's a bit absurd with the lightning again because they did the whole lightning
when
thing.
he struck up his hands and like electrocuted every ship, I was like, how fucking ridiculous are we getting?
He's
here?
infinite. Yeah.
I mean, is he like Thor? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. He comes from a
That's
clone.
true.
Like clone's
how
doing that.
You know what I mean?
So
It's
No, I get it. No, that was. If anything, I would have probably cut that out just not to show. Like, I know they want to show he's powerful, okay, but then he gets the lightning back on him from Rey. I like the idea of using both lightsabers because they had Luke's lightsaber and Leia's. So I get the whole.
But again, he got killed by his own Force lightning. Again. Like he got in the prequels. Like it just this Force lightning killed him like 3 times.
A lot of people said they thought maybe they were going to use the dagger, use a Sith dagger against him, which kind of would have been cool. But then you want to use a dagger to kill him.
That might have been one of the many ending changes.
Which ending would that have been?
I think it
Kathleen
was
Kennedy's
Iger's,
cut or JJ's cut or Bob?
I would have
Iger's?
liked that better.
I would have been cool, but then you really want to kill a Force user
And
with a dagger.
Everything just gets retconned. Like it looked to me that Ben was done. He got thrown down that shaft. He climbed.
Oh
back.
no, I knew once he got thrown down without seeing him die. I'm like, oh,
You knew
he's
coming
gonna.
back
See, I actually thought
at
he
some
was gonna be the
point.
Rise of Skywalker because I knew he got threw down the pit. I'm like, oh, he will actually rise, and they'll tie that into a metaphor in the movie of some kind of theme of the movie.
Well, the Rise of Skywalker is, as we end up finding out,
Rey.
is Rey.
And she's not even really
Which she's not even a Skywalker.
So you
which
guys
is
didn't like they did? She
Who
took the
were
Skywalker
those
name?
people
I
in,
did not
in
like
that arena?
that.
Was that like an illusion or was that like
they
real
said it was
people?
like a Force illusion, but it's all the Sith. It's like the Coliseum of the Sith spirits because they're on Exegol, which is like the home of the Sith land and all these spirits. And he says, "I am all the Sith."
You know all those people in the crowd with their hoods on?
Those were the
Like,
Sith, the ancient Sith.
I don't remember.
Yeah, the whole
dude,
the whole ending.
He was like in an arena.
They all got the hoods on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Who the fuck were those people?
they were the ancient Sith.
I didn't know if they were supposed to really be there, like a crowd, or like.
I think they were. I think they were
I'm
spirits.
trying to remember.
Yeah, I think they were just.
I
Sith
didn't get
spirits,
that.
Ancient spirits.
I didn't get that part.
I
And
heard
then like
that's
the
what it
ending was weird. That like, they couldn't leave because there was a fucking like their map quest wasn't.
Yeah.
Like,
They were like
they always said
were
that.
like
They
locked
were like-
in.
They
yeah.
always said that his you can't get to the unknown regions because of so many like comets and fucking shit in the way. Like your ship can get blown up
because
so they have-
because of the thing.
but on like an exact chart. But
Yes.
they said that in the books and everything. Like unknown regions is,
Right.
is
You need
which is cool. I always love the unknown regions.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
cool.
one-
It is cool.
But then like everyone in the galaxy.
Everyone
got there.
showed up. Yeah.
How the fuck? And then they left. How did they?
Everyone
get there?
showed up.
yeah, there's no explanation. And then also another thing I heard too, someone told me was the Knights of Ren. How did they follow Kylo? They're not supposed to be able to get in. They just followed. They just found him there. They just followed him. And how did they know he turned back to good? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And we don't even know. What
There's another comic right there.
Again, we don't even know what they are.
No, they explained it. That's another thing that came out in canon. They're an ancient cult that was gifted
To him?
by Snoke to Kylo, but they're not the same guys. They're like they're a
You
cult.
mean by
They pass it
Palpatine?
down. They pass it down to.
They were
they said,
gifted-
they were
yes,
gifted
by
right,
Palpatine.
but the idea is it's supposed to be right by Snoke.
Yeah,
but
but it was gifted
they're
by
an ancient
Palpatine.
cult that's been around for thousands of years. They're just warriors with some basic Sith power, and they've been passed on generation to generation. There's never been like one set of them.
They got
forever.
fucked up.
Yeah, they got fucking fucked up.
Once he
And
got
there
that
was Sith
lightsaber.
troopers
yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, that you know what that was? Toys. Oh, we have red stormtroopers now.
Where were they?
Under the ground in that ice thing for
No,
30
but like,
years.
wait, where? I don't remember them in the movie that much.
Oh, they're just in the background. There's no actual stuff of them. They're just in the back. They're literally just in the. A few times they're in the background, like with guns and stuff. They don't serve any purpose in the actual movie. It's not like at least in 8 where you got the Sith royal guards that are red. Like they have a full purpose and they have a good fight scene. Okay, cool. These guys are just there. They're literally just there.
Palpatine's royal guards. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we move on, I want to ask you guys about the future of this franchise. But before we do, let's give a final summation. Tim, what did you think of Episode 9, and give it your final score?
Messy. No explanation. What I thought I was going to be after 8, I didn't think they could save it, so I didn't like it. I thought it was okay. I have to watch it. I did only watch it once, but I didn't like the ending. I didn't like Palpatine coming back.
I have a similar sentiment as you.
I
I like the
just-
movie a little bit more. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
I liked it a little bit more than you in terms of like.
I think 7's a fair score.
And you're so you'd also give it a 7.
I'll give it a 7.
Okay, so we're all generally close. Then I'm giving it an 8. So we're not like 5 and 9. You know, we're not that separate. Okay, so I said the same thing. I gave it my review. It's a sloppy, choppy mess, but it's fun. It's beautifully shot. I got some of the character moments I wanted. I laughed at some stuff. I hated some stuff. I clapped at some moments. I liked the ending with the Force, with Luke and Leia there, and she got the yellow lightsaber, which I thought was cool.
Oh yeah,
So,
let's talk about the ending too.
Yeah.
I didn't like that much. So where did the yellow lightsaber come from? Isn't that supposed to be like a royal guard?
The color yellow is tied to the Jedi Temple Guards. I think they're just doing that for fun, connection to the story. But I like how somebody said that her new lightsaber matches the hilt of her staff. She kind of like molded her staff.
So she buried
cool.
Luke and Leia's
blue lightsabers.
On
where'd she get the fucking crystal?
What do you mean? They're in there.
The yellow.
She had to go get her own.
Oh, she had
crystal.
well, that you just have to take that, and she just made it as it. The yellow.
And she went back to the Lars homestead. She has no tie to Tatooine at all.
No.
So she just went there to bury their lightsabers.
Yeah, which I that was nice. You don't think that was kind of cool?
I thought that was cool.
And now she's like,
I thought that was cool, but I didn't like that she was like,
I'm a Skywalker.
Yeah,
but what's she gonna be, a Palpatine? Like somebody said to me, and I thought this was a good point. If you're related to Space Hitler, you're not gonna say, "Well, I'm gonna take the Hitler name and I'm gonna make it good." No,
that's a good point. That's a good point. But I would have just been like Madonna, my name is Ray.
And then
that's it.
I thought they looked weird.
You just have one name.
They did look a little weird.
It looked like fucking Chubs in the sky and
his
final putt.
I saw an image of it. I saw an image of it after I saw the movie.
They were like extra big.
It looked a little weird.
It looked like fucking.
I didn't mind the ending. I was okay. That's why I'm.
I just didn't like that she burying the lightsabers was like saying goodbye to them.
Right.
And then,
I don't.
Again,
how
that's
is
more of
she
an
the
audience
Rise
thing.
of the Skywalker?
And they had that woman walk by and it's like, no one's been here for so long.
Who are you?
No one's been here for so long, but you just strolled by.
And you're gonna drop off those lightsabers.
And no one's living there. There's no sand.
But that's more. Again, that's more for the fans. That's probably one of the many things that Terry debated with the ending. Like that changed. That was not the first thing that they wrote. No. So. All right, so we're a little bit more mixed on that, even though I did enjoy it. So, guys, the future of this franchise.
Whoa.
Where are we at?
Is Obi-Wan's next? That's it, right? Right?
Yeah, Obi-Wan is next. Well, Clone Wars Season 7 is the next thing.
I can't wait for that.
I'm very hyped for that. And then we get Obi-Wan. And then if they're going to mix in...
We'll have to wait for the next,
the Mandalorian's been
no trilogy.
So
Mandalorian's been pretty good. We're gonna
the Mandalorian...
It's been good. It's been good.
This last episode was really good.
The last episode was very good. It was by far the best episode.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
But as a whole, it just, for me, it hasn't been like great. It hasn't been.
I think after Obi-Wan, they're going to have problems.
Well,
I don't know where they're going to drop their.
The rumor is Kathy and Lucasfilm will be announcing the next directors in January or February. I heard January, but maybe February.
If they have what's their name, brothers?
The Russo. That was one of the rumors.
And they end up doing like the Old Republic. Then people are going to fucking shit themselves.
Oh, we'll be jumping right back on these microphones. Yeah, if they do that. That is the future.
Kind of done with the Skywalker saga.
Well, we're all done with it.
I know it is done, but I mean, like, I'm glad it's over now because we're never gonna get redemption for 8. No.
And maybe in decades from now they'll say 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Who knows?
Could you imagine in January if they announced 10, 11, and 12 starting in 2020? Because we know the next movie is 2022, so let's acknowledge that. But could you imagine if what would happen?
I don't even think they can get these actors all on board. I mean, Ben's dead. I think they're all kind of done.
I think they're all a little burnt out. Yeah. But again, we're talking about 3 years from now. We're literally talking about 3
Depends who needs money
years.
and everything. But
I think it's best you start again. You do the Old Republic.
I think you start fresh.
Go away from the Skywalker. Sorry.
Yeah, you have to go like 100 years in the future or thousands of years back to the Republic. Like you want to go back. The Republic. I don't know if you know, Frank. The Republic is thousands of years ago.
Yes, yeah. I know
from the games.
Parts of
that's why there's the most Sith and the most Jedi. So maybe,
I don't know. I
think the Russos would kill it because they obviously are good at doing these group movies of like Infinity War and Endgame.
And they could do a lot of battles.
I think they could tell great stories still.
Oh, there's plenty of great stories
without just the First Republic and stuff.
There's
got to be great stories out there for them to tell.
We really just care about the Skywalkers and the Jedi.
But maybe they can make us care about.
I don't know. I'll tell you right now. If it's something that's like brand new, I'm down for it.
Okay, but
I'm down for it because I am done with the Skywalkers. I'm done with it.
I'm done with them after. I have so much hope for this Obi-Wan series.
It's gonna.
My hopes are dwindling. For
yeah, but remember, a lot of people love the Mandalorian more than you. Like a lot of people love it.
And you know what?
Obi-Wan has to be head and shoulders above the Mandalorian.
Completely. Well, because there has to be. Again, we talk about this. Set story,
and an emotional story.
There's so much they can do with Obi-Wan.
Yeah. It's narrow in its basic scope, but it's also so wide that they have a lot to play with. They can do a lot of cool shit.
They could bring in. There's a lot of characters
he
they could bring in.
He doesn't have to stay on Tatooine the whole
That's
time.
what I'm saying. There's a lot of different.
Well, I think he kind of does because he's supposed to be watching
He can
Luke.
go see Yoda.
He can go see Yoda.
Yes, he can go train with Yoda.
Doesn't retcon
learn how to be a Force ghost.
I want to hear. I want to see the biggest thing for me. I like is I want to see the PTSD that he has going through after everything.
I want it to be a very dark and almost like
just pay attention to us.
Post-war, like because he just got out of the war. Post-war,
right? PTSD.
Like,
he killed his best friend, dealing with everything. He's on this desert planet.
I want it to be a dark, gritty.
Obi-Wan has nobody. Think about it. He lost Qui-Gon. He lost Yoda. He lost Anakin, and he has no Padme's dead. Like he literally has nobody. He doesn't even have Padme. He has nobody. Windu is dead. Like everyone's dead.
He can. We got to see him commune with Qui-Gon. And commune with Yoda.
Pay Liam Neeson. Get him on there.
But anyway, guys. To me, it was what I thought it was going to be, the 9.
It came in a little under for me. I know I was the most positive. It came in a little under for me, but I still did like it. And I'll be honest. I look forward to seeing. I'm not just going to see it again because I'm a Star Wars fan. I want to see it again. I genuinely want to see it again.
I'm going to see it again.
Yeah,
I'm going to see it again.
I am too. But if I went back to 2014, 2015, before 7, and I told myself this, you'd be disappointed.
No, you'd have to be. When we heard in 2013 that Disney had bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion and they were going to make a new trilogy. This is not where we thought we were.
No, absolutely
the
not.
thing is, we got
a
huge tease with 7 because I was like, "Wow, this is a fucking great."
They did a good job with 7. They said
great start.
Remember, everyone said the big question was, "Can you do another good Star Wars movie after the prequels?" They said, "The question was, can JJ do it?" And then I remember reading one of the first reviews I saw. They said JJ did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, beautiful. And you scroll down, you see the score, and you're like, "Oh my god, they got a 9 or whatever."
Let us know your thoughts. Comments. I keep forgetting we're on YouTube.
Listen, guys. We've been forgetting to tell you. We want to hear from you in the comments. Also, we're on anchor.fm/MTDS. There's a button on there to send us voice messages that we can implement into the show. So if you have questions for us or you want to ask us about movies we like or a next topic for a show, just anything, send us a message on there. We check everything. We just we want to hear from you because obviously
Instagram
this is
movies that don't suck with 2 Ks.
Yeah, suck with 2 Ks, but the title is just movies that don't suck. But if you want to see the hashtag movies that don't suck with 2 Ks, send us a message on there. And again, we want to hear what you have to say into the show. It's not just about us,
And that's it.
But I think we've established what we
thought. We put the Skywalker.
The sleep of Skywalker.
The sleep.
We put him
it
done.
It was the Force Awakens, the Rise of Skywalker, and now
it's never coming back. And
that's why I'm done with it.
But listen, we're still let's be fair. We're still excited for Star Wars. We just want to see now what it is.
I am because I'm done with this saga. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to see what else.
You're not mad at JJ. I don't think any of us are mad at JJ. He did the best he could. I'm hyped for JJ's next movie.
I really like JJ.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Yeah, thanks. All right, guys. So listen, we'll see you in the new year. We'll be back with another episode, and we'll see you next time. Take care.